In this video, I'm going to do this Steve Good pattern. He calls it Old Truck. And it's very similar to the old car that we did. Now, this one has some different features. Of course, it's got a cab instead of a body. The door's open. I put a little heavier duty wheels on this and running boards than he did, but it's mainly because it's what I had available. So stay tuned. We'll look at the patterns and cut it out and kind of show you how I put it together. It's not real complex, and it's kind of fun and satisfying. So stay tuned and we'll get to it. Now we're going to look at the patterns and the material for this little model truck. Kind of using some scraps for part of it. I'm not going to paint anything on this one. I think I'm going to stain some of it dark, as I've already started, as you can see. And this is going to be stained also. But then I'm going to leave some parts light colored, like the grill and the fender running board combination there. And the wheels I'm going to do like I did on the other model. I'm going to try to leave it look like wooden spokes and look like a black tire around it. I've already got some of the parts actually made. This is the seat. These are the side boards on the back of the bed of the little truck. And this is the frame, the base of the whole thing. This is going to be the engine hood. Grill's going to go in front of that, and I haven't stained this yet because I'm going to shape it to match that once I get it cut out. This will be stained when I get through. And the doors, you got two doors, and you see you got this mark. You put a nail through it and cut this out, and it will open and close. I've actually drilled and got some little tiny nails that I think will fit down there. If not, I can cut the top of them off. So I also got the holes drilled for the wheels, for the axles. And on the last video, I did a technique whereby I layered 2/4 inch pieces to get the 1/2 inch, and I put a saw curve in each one to match so that it would give me a good pilot hole and it'd be directly in the center. This time I'm not going all the way through. I'm drilling each hole individually. And so what I did is I made a little jig, and I used the same technique on it as I did on the whole thing last time. I made that by layering 2/4 inch pieces with a saw curve in them, and then put a little deal over it to overlap. And I marked an index line on here, and I had one marked on here so that it lined up in each place, and I drilled in the proper place. And it looks like one of them may be like a 32nd off. It's off, you can tell by the eye. But I'm going to cut the wheels and get them on the axle and put them on this before I glue everything together to see if I need to make any adjustments to get that so it won't be rocking on two wheels or whatever. The problem was I drilled this as a 1/4 inch because they talk about 1/4 inch axles. And I've got some axle pegs that I'm going to use that are slightly smaller than 1/4 inch. So I had to use a slightly smaller drill through this hole. And so I got off there on that one. I think it's just the one. But I'm going to see what I can do about that if it's going to be a problem before we finish putting it together. Anyway, that's the procedure. Got to drill the holes and all for all the entry holes for all the internal cuts. And then it's not a lot of cuts. The wheels and the grill has got some, radiator's got a lot of internal cuts. And then on this one you got to cut the window, and then you got to cut around the door. And I'm going to stain that, like I said, and get through. You got to sand the door on the back so it'll swivel in and out. So let me get these holes drilled. I'll get to the saw and put a new blade in. I may go with a 3 on this. It's mostly light stuff, except for this one. And see if we can get this cut out and make it look decent, and try to make these pieces stand out from the rest of it. Like I said, still got to stain some of it. So we'll drill these holes, we'll get to the saw, and we'll start cutting it. Okay, before I move forward, I'm still in the middle of painting the wheels, and I'm staining. I've got everything stained now. I'm going to start putting it together pretty soon. Before I did that, I wanted to see if I needed to make an adjustment on this one hole. Seemed to be like a 32nd or maybe a 16th off. Yes, I got a very, very slight, not ever, you roll the wheels, it changes. It's not enough for me to mess with. It's pretty solid and stable. If you stop it in the right spot, it may rock just a little bit, and that could be from inconsistencies on the wheels. So I'm not going to worry about that hole. It seemed to be off a little bit. It looks like it's not a problem. So I'm going to continue to paint these wheels, and I'll start putting it together. This is just a quick little mock-up of it. I just sitting on there to see how everything goes together. I think it's going to go together pretty well. I got a few adjustments to make on some things to make them fit snug. I'll work on those and then start gluing it together. So there's the finished project. As Steve Good calls it, an old truck. The wheels turn, door opens, both the doors open. It's very similar to the old car. It's got a little extra features on it. I made these, the wheels and the fenders and running boards out of a slightly larger wood than he did. It's supposed to be a heavy duty, and that's basically what I had available. So that's mainly the reason I used that. Plus I needed the color contrast. I still would kind of like to put a sealer coat on it, but I need to let everything cure a little bit before I do that. It's kind of a fun little project. I kind of like the way it turned out. I really like old cars. I was in an antique car club for a long time. But anyway, now I'm into scroll saw. So I hope you like that. And if you did, hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. There's still a series of models along with some other videos I'm doing. Videos aren't coming out as fast right now because the weather's changed and I spend more time outside. I got behind on my work in the heat of the summer. But hope you enjoyed that, and hope to see you in the next video.